Hi, thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to talk about the important role that artists play in society and the intrinsic benefits of the arts to audiences and consumers. The last time I talked about born artists, and what makes them different from other human beings. Now to review. Solo artists, meaning artists who work alone, like poets, playwrights, composers, and visual artists, are born with the ability to see the world more vividly than other people. Also, solo artists are born with the gift of interpretation and translation. They possess both the ability to see the world more vividly and the ability to translate what they see into physical objects that are created as a result of both what they see in the world and their emotional response to what they see. Again, a piece of art, whether it's a painting, a sculpture, a sheet of music, a poem, is the product of the artist's vision and the artist's emotional response to the vision. The pieces of artwork they create can survive for generations and generations. They're often history lessons reminding us of other times and places and the lives that people lived so foreign to our own reality. Collaborative artists, performing artists, also are born with the gifts of translation and interpretation. And I'm talking here about actors, dancers, musicians, and other artists that work in groups. They have the ability to translate and transform the vision of a solo artist into a performance using their physical bodies. Performing artists not only translate and interpret the work of the visionary, but they also have the unusual ability to connect with the audience throughout the performance. They engage in silent communication between the artist, and the viewer, and this is critical to the overall performance. That's why no two performances are the same. I know as a theater actor that every performance was different. It wasn't different because of the actors on the stage, or the director, or the designer, or the playwright. It was different because of the audience. There is, in my opinion, a quiet communication between the translator, interpreter, which is the artist, and the recipient, the audience. And this communication impacts the entire experience and makes each performance unique. It's worth noting that there are many performing artists who also have the gift of vision. They are composers and also musicians, choreographers and also dancers, playwrights and also actors, etc. And sometimes we even see groups of artists who have both gifts and who perform and work collaboratively. It's obvious that born artists are human beings who have been gifted with rare and unusual capacities, and they should hold a special place in society. In fact, throughout history, the role of the artist has been compared to the role of the shaman. Scholars say that in shamanic cultures, artists and shaman are often the same person. They say that artists can be considered shaman because they are message givers and visionaries who create art to change how the world perceives itself. And in addition, the comparison with shaman continues to be made because the artist's role is one of mediator and translator and visionary. Even today, we naturally turn to our artists in times of great crisis. I always think about September 11th when the planes crashed into the Twin Towers in New York City, how deeply I wanted to hear from poets and singers. I needed artists to translate for me what was otherwise incomprehensible. And I wasn't alone. Millions of others also yearned for the artist to put words to their feelings. And we saw this phenomenon again during the recent pandemic, when we also turned instinctively to musicians and other artists to ease our isolation and give us hope. And artists also give us comfort at personal gatherings, such as funerals. Not only are artists essential in times of sadness and crisis, they also play an important role in our celebrations. Imagine weddings, graduations, holidays without music. Artists created that music. And so routinely, and we so routinely take it for granted, artists made the soundtrack of our lives, and how could we possibly live without them? And now I want to turn your attention to audiences and arts consumers and how they benefit from experiencing the arts. Again, I'm turning to the Gifts of the Muse report undertaken by the RAND Corporation in Santa Monica, California, and funded by the Wallace Foundation in New York City. And I'm quoting here. Benefits refer to effects inherent in the arts experience that add value to people's lives. Obvious examples are the sheer joy we feel in response to a piece of music or movements, in dance or to a painting. Beyond these immediate effects, there are personal effects that develop with recurrent aesthetic experiences, such as the growth in one's capacity to feel, perceive, and judge for oneself, and growth in one's capacity to participate imaginatively in the lives of others, and to empathize with others. And some works go beyond such personal effects, providing a common experience that draws people together and influences the way the community perceives itself, thereby creating intrinsic benefits that accrue to the public. So what the report is saying is that there's benefits, personal benefits from the art experience, and there's also community benefits. The report goes on to say, given the importance of intrinsic benefits of the arts, it is unfortunate that they have been so marginalized in the public discourse and in research on the arts. When we encounter a work of art, it moves us by communicating something akin to what the artist envisioned by drawing upon our powers of discovery and eliciting our emotions. Unlike most human communication, which takes place through formalized discourse, art communicates through direct experience. The heart of our response is a kind of sensing, similar to the sense of wonder we may feel when we come across a great natural beauty. This immediate encounter becomes enriched by reflection upon the aesthetic experience. And it's not only limited to passive spectatorship. It typically stimulates curiosity, questioning, and searching for explanation. The common second step in appreciation process is a shared interpretation. People who are moved by a work of art also often talk to other people about the experience or read accounts of other people's experiences to test their own perceptions and fill out their own understanding. Such discourses also reinforce the community of shared values. I know this is a lot of information, and you might be asking, why is this important? Well, I'll tell you. Having a better idea of what and who you are as an artist and being able to help others benefit from what motivates you is very important. And it's equally important to understand that work created by artists, meaning you, bring real benefits to people and community. It's also important for artists to begin to develop a shared language about the role the arts play in society. Hopefully, I have provided you with some useful language here. If I have, you use it. Or use words and whatever works for you. Discover your own language. And if you do, please share it in the comments. My goal is to help you reposition and elevate the role of artists in the communities and to communicate the importance of the arts to funders, policymakers, and other artists. And you can help me by subscribing to this channel and asking your arts colleagues to do the same. If you know arts leaders, please encourage them to watch this channel also. As always, you can find a transcript of this episode on the Arts Shrink blog site. Please join me next time when I talk about the moment in history that changed everything for artists.